Yes, welcome to the first of my walkthroughs, and let me start by creating a new project which I would use for all my walkthroughs. I call it walkthroughs, and I have placed it here in my box folder beneath projects, and it would be a Java project, and it would use the IntelliJ build system, and I will be using the JDK 21 from Amazon Corretto. I create the project, and I will create one package for each walkthrough. So in this case, I will do the exercise called Grade Average Calculator. Let me start by creating a package for that exercise by right-clicking on the source folder and then selecting package, calling it, for example, se.hkr.calculator. Now I have a package called se.hkr.calculator, and remember that this is actually three folders beneath each other, one called se, one called hkr, and one called calculator. And inside the calculator directory then, or inside this package called se.hkr.calculator, I will create my file, my class, and I will call it calculator. Like that. In this case, we will have a main method, and that is it. So I write main. I could have written PS like that also. And what is the purpose of this class? Well, the purpose is to enter grades and then calculate the grade average. So I should have some keyboard input where I collect all the grades, and I do this in some kind of loop. And when I'm done with that loop, I will then calculate the average by having the sum and divide it by the number of inputs that I did. So first of all, we should output a label onto the screen, and I call it, I will have the text grade average calculator, like that. And I will actually add one more new line by doing like this. And now I should start a loop. Inside this loop then, I will have a text printed onto the console, like the text enter the grades, U, 3, 4, 5, and enter -1 to finish. After that, I will use the scanner to get the text from the keyboard, and I will do this all over again until I enter -1. I said that I'm going to use the scanner, so I will create the scanner here. The scanner is actually kind of a helper class for managing any kind of input. In this case, I will use it to help me with managing the input from the keyboard. So that's why I need to provide the system.in inside the constructor, like that. Now I have created a new scanner, And let me also have this text here, println, where I give information to the user to enter the grades. Enter the grades, and they should be either U or 3 or 4 or 5, and -1 to finish. Like that. And I will add another new line as well. So now I have the information on the screen. I have created a scanner. What do I need more before I enter the loop? Well, as I'm going to create or calculate the average, I need to have a variable to hold the sum of all the grades. And I will also need to record or to store how many grades that I have entered. So I need at least 2 variables here. Yes, so let's create these 2 variables. One called sum, sorry about that, one called sum and another called count. Both could be integers, since my grades, they will be converted to integers. 3, 4, 5, they are of course integers, and U will be treated as 0. So they are all integers, and count, of course, is an integer, since I will use it only to hold the number of grades that I have entered. Now I will start my loop. Okay, so for how long should I, or what kind of conditions should I have here inside my while loop? I could try to find a condition which would break the loop when I press -1. But I could also do it like this, to say while true, and that means that this loop will continue forever until I do something inside the loop where I break the loop. So I need some kind of condition eventually where I break the loop, and that condition will be when I press -1. So first, I need some text here again, displayed on the screen, and that should be something like grade, and then I say count +1 colon. What I do here, I no println actually, because I want the cursor to stay on the same row as this text here. So I want the cursor to be right here when I enter the grade from the keyboard. So that's why I only have print and not println. So this line here will say grade and then 1 in the first iteration of this loop, colon. Grade 1 colon, and then on the second iteration grade 2 colon, and so forth. So now I need to get the grade, and I will use the scanner to get the grade from the keyboard, and there is a method called nextLine which will fetch everything until I press enter. So everything I start typing until I press enter on the keyboard, and that will, I will, by using nextLN, get everything on that line. Now, I have the grade inside the variable grade, and here I could test it. If it is equals to -1, and if it is -1, I want to break this loop. Okay, if it is not -1, I will here check if what I entered is a valid input, and the valid inputs are U, 3, 4, 5. So I do it like this: grade equals U, that is one valid input. If it is U, or grade equals 3, or grade equals 4, or grade equals 5. It need to be one of these 4 inputs. Otherwise, I will not treat the entered value. But if it is one of these 4, then what should I do? Well, I should add the newly entered grade to my sum variable. I use the plus equals operator to add to sum. This means it's the same thing as writing sum plus. Sum equals sum plus. So this is just a shorter way of writing that. And what I could do it like this: if it is grade, if grade is U, then if this is true, then I should add 0. U means 0. But if it is not U, then I could actually parse the value of the grade into an integer. And there's a method for that. Remember that Java is a typed language, so you need always to think about what type you're using. And sum is an integer, but what you entered from the keyboard is a string. And it could be like a character, for example, U, or any other character. That's why you cannot start adding grade. Just adding strings will not work here. So I need to convert the string to an integer, and I do that by using this parse method called parseInt, which takes a string and converts it to an integer. That's it. And I also increase my counter. If I did not enter any of these values, I print to the console that I entered an invalid grade, and that I should enter one of the values of U, 3, 4, or 5. Now this loop could be done. I think I have done what I should do inside the loop. For each turn in this loop, I print out to the screen grade and the number, like first in the first iteration, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, and so forth. And then I enter a grade. If it is not -1, I continue here, check that if it's a valid grade, and if it is a valid grade, I will add it to the sum variable. I will increase my counter, and then I'm done. So what should I do? What should I do after the loop? Now I have the sum of all the grades inside the sum variable. I have the counter, and then I could calculate the average by dividing sum divided by count. This is actually not correct. You see it's yellow here for some reason. Let's check it out. Cast the numerator to double. Yeah, IntelliJ saw that this division is an integer division, since both the numbers here are integers. The division is an integer division, and so it will just return an integer result. But I need a double result. Therefore, I need to convert this to a double. Or actually, this double here will treat the first value, sum, as a double value. And therefore, it would be a double division. Now I have the average, and I could just print it out to the screen like this. And here I actually start by adding a new line to get some extra space before I write the grade. The grade average is average. And when I'm done, I close my scanner, and this should be it. Let's try this out. This should be it. Let's try this out. Okay, let's look down here. I have this line here, grade average calculator, enter the grades U345, enter -1 to finish, and then I have the first opportunity to enter a grade, and I say that the first one got a U, and the second one got a 3, the third got a 4, and the fourth got a 5. Sorry, yeah, let's try a 6. That was an invalid grade. Please enter U345. So let's do it again. 5. And then -1 to quit. The grade average is 3.0, which seems correct. So that should be it. Let us just quickly browse through this solution again. I start by printing out to the console the title that should be outputted to the screen, to the console. I create my scanner. Perhaps I should have done that first. Perhaps it's prettier to do it like this and then have these two print lines. And yeah, the second print line asks the user to enter the grades, U345 and -1 to finish. I create the two variables which will hold the added grades in sum and the counter which will count the number of grades that I enter. I start the loop, which is an infinite loop really, so far at least, since this condition will always be true. Inside the loop, and in each turn of the loop, I will print to the screen grade and then a number, grade 1, colon. I will enter the grade from the keyboard, check if it is a proper grade, and I will convert it to an integer here. And then I will add the counter. I will, after the loop, when I have entered all the grades, I will calculate the average, I will print it to the screen, and I will close the scanner.